Today I wanted to talk a little bit about a question I've gotten a lot lately. I'm always asked questions about quilting, but today I wanted to answer a question that I had several times last week from some colleagues, and once in a text from a girlfriend in Boise as to why I'm doing YouTube videos and why I have a YouTube channel. Twofold. One is I would like to articulate myself a little better. When I was teaching some quilting students in Boise, I found myself hurrying through the processes and not truly explaining a quilting technique in certain areas. And so I had to kind of teach myself to slow down. And now I find when I'm talking that the same thing is happening. So I'm trying to learn to articulate just a little bit better. I'm not on any Facebook. I do not have an Instagram or Twitter. I really only have a Pinterest account and this YouTube channel. Both are pretty non-obtrusive, I think. I can control when I post something or how many posts or pages I like on my Pinterest page, but yet they're pretty open. Anybody can see them. I truly feel that you can learn a lot about somebody by taking a peek at their Pinterest pages. See what some of their favorite things are, or learning more about them, let alone the things that they like. So my Pinterest pages are open, like most people's. My Pinterest pages are there. So if you want to follow me on Pinterest, it's under Shanda Lindsay, Lindsay, not EY. But I do have Pinterest and I have this YouTube channel. So the second reason why I'm doing these videos is I have family scattered throughout the United States, and my children are here in the same state that I am, but they're almost 300 miles away. So it was my son who gave me the idea to do these YouTube videos so that someday my grandkids can say, my grandma's on YouTube. And I thought that was kind of a way to be a hip grandma. So I am doing videos for family members so that they can kind of follow along with what I'm doing and seeing what I'm doing, and just a way to keep in contact, because like I said, I do not have Facebook. I'm not a fan of Facebook. I do not have Instagram. I do not have Twitter. I just have Pinterest and this YouTube channel. The second thing I kind of wanted to talk about today is my read that I'm reading. It's called Johnny Appleseed, The Man, the Myth, the American Story. And a lot of people think that Johnny Appleseed was a myth, that he was just a made-up person, but he isn't. And you'll find he had his real last name was Chapman, and it was a gentleman who sold nursery stock in the early days prior to maybe right around the time of the American Revolution. I'm about halfway through this book. It's by Howard Means, and it's Johnny Appleseed, The Man, the Myth, the American Story. And it's a pretty good read for right now. The other book I got, well, that one is mine. I did buy that one. But I was at my library, I don't know, sometime last week, and I saw this really thick book on breads. Just something fun that I'm thumbing through. I made some blueberry muffins out of here this last weekend, Friday night. But it's one that I checked out from the library, and I'll take that one back. My favorite quote, I just love this quote. I love life, first of all, but I love Susan Branch. Susan Branch is a watercolor artist off of the coast of Massachusetts on Martha's Vineyard. And I love her sense of detail. She's just very highly detailed watercolor artist. And she has an amazing life. But I get her newsletter once a quarter, and it's called Willard. And there is an interesting story behind why she calls it Willard. But in this last Willard that I just got this last week, there was a quote that said, days on your calendar are closer than they appear. And I immediately thought, of course, of that little inscription that's in all of our rear view mirrors and our side mirrors of our cars that say objects in mirror are closer than they appear. Same with this on Jurassic Park. That big dinosaur was closer than he appeared. And in context of days on your calendar are closer than they appear, I think it relates to those goals that we set for our New Year's resolutions. And I just want to encourage everybody to keep going. I can honestly say that I have not had any sugar. I have had some sugar, not probably as much as I normally eat, but I have definitely made my goal of laying off the soda. No sodas for me in 2018. Diet or otherwise, no sodas. So I have kept that goal. But anyway, my favorite quote, yes, days on the calendar are closer than they appear. The last two things I want to talk about really quick are actually my very favorite things right now. This is a book. It's just a notebook. It's a really thick notebook, but it's got 3 parts to it. It's my creative journal per se. The first part has just lined paper, and it also has pictures and things of quilts that I'd like to design or change or add upon. It's got room for my notes for my own personalization of these quilts and the design process that I'll use when I throw it into my EQ7 software. Just different colors. The second part is graph paper, and the third part is just plain blank paper that I can sketch on if I want. But it's called Create. I got it at Staples, and the back is very worn because it's spent last summer riding around with me in my four-wheeler, the basket I have on my four-wheeler. So if I was inspired when I was out in nature riding around, I could stop and write a few things down or draw. I'm not a huge drawer, but if I thought of a quilt, a block or something in my head, I could sketch it in here, and that's one of my favorite things. The last favorite thing I have, I use a lot of rulers in my line of business, and this one is a 2.5 by 6.5, I want to say, yes. But I use a lot of washi tape. If I'm cutting out a quilt block or scoring up a quilt block, cutting out quilt pieces, I use washi tape to mark my spot on that ruler so that when I lay it down on my fabric, I know exactly where I need to go to cut. And it's not always a second guessing, do I have it in the right spot? Because I have miscut and I have wasted a lot of fabric that way. But washi tape, who knew? Just in closing today, it is a beautiful afternoon. Seize the day. And remember that days on your calendar are closer than they appear.